Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. And Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure. Yeah.
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Welch's knows some things make zero sense, like why the algorithm knows your music tastes better than you do. But zero sugar and full flavor? We made that make sense with new Welch's Zero Sugar. All that passion fruit or tropical punch goodness and none of the sugar. You gotta sip it to get it. New Welch's Zero Sugar. Let's fruit stuff up.
Hello, and welcome to Small Town Murder Express.
Yay, and choo-choo.
All aboard the murder train, indeed. My name is James Petrogallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Wisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today on another wild, crazy adventure. As this is the 13th Express that we've done. So as you've maybe seen by now, this is 20 pounds of dynamite in a 3-pound bag here. So it's always crazy.
Already?
This is 13 already. We're cranking them out, Jimmy. We're doing this. We're putting it out. Thank you for everything. We appreciate it. Just to let you know, Patreon this week, patreon.com/crime and sports. You're definitely going to want to do this. Anybody $5 or above gets access to all the bonus material, crime and sports bonus material, which is our other podcast, and Small Town Murder. This week, we are going to discuss, and we're very excited about it, and you're going to, of course, get access to this.
Fucking Jack.
We're going to talk about each of our lists of top 5 sports movies of all time in depth. We've taken out 4 that we know would be in our list, so we've stripped them down. What is it? League of Their Own, Sandlot, Major League, and Bad News Bears, because those are all movies.
Baseball.
It's so cinematic. It works perfectly, but we had to take those out of the mix.
Baseball.
We will talk about those, but then we'll give our top 5 in depth. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then for Small Town Murder, this is going to be amazing. We are going to talk about old-timey murders from newspaper articles. This is where we've gotten terms like dry gulching and things like that from old-timey murders. And there's some weird articles that I found that I'm going to mix in from the past of aliens, and one where it's a Madison Square Garden. It's a big circus, and the ringmaster announces, "Here's the clown," and he doesn't come out because someone has murdered him in his dressing room in full clown regalia. He's laying there dead. And the picture in the paper is him just laying there dead in the dressing room in his clown outfit. And I laugh. Yes. And I laugh. It's from the 50s. I laugh and I laugh. Patreon.com/crime and sports for that. And of course, you'll get a shout out at the end of the regular show there. And Jimmy will mispronounce your name. Also, tickets to New Orleans. Get your tickets right now. July 15th, we're going to be there. Still some tickets left there. So do that. That said, let's get it on, Jimmy. It's time to sit back. Clear the lungs wherever you are, on your treadmills and in your cars with the windows rolled up so people don't think you're a psycho having road rage.
On a website, get New Orleans tickets.
Whatever you got to do, and shout, "Shut up!
Shut up and give me
murder!" Let's do this,
go,
Jimmy.
James.
Let's go on a trip, shall we?
Aboard.
Well, let's see. It's not actually too far from whence we sit here, or where, not when, but it's close. It's close to us. If you go just across the river from Poughkeepsie here, you will end up in New Paltz, New York, and that is where New Paltz, Paltz, New Paltz. Did we drive through here?
May have.
We should. We'll drive through when we're done. But you can go across the river. It's a college town, and it's a like hardcore college town. That's all it's there. It's the beyond
the college?
Beyond that, New Paltz, SUNY New Paltz, which is State University of New York. There's like a shitload of SUNY schools, and that's one of them. And it's a college town. It's bars and madness. Like
debauchery.
I know everybody fights over there because it's people like college people mixed with like people from the city of Poughkeepsie that are going over there that are like, it's not good. It's a weird mix in like the bar situation, but a lot of people I know that's like, I survived, hanging out in New Paltz for years. One of those type of deals. But it's so dense through here because it's this little tiny college town. It's so dense, and then you come to the end of this, like, these couple of buildings, and then it's not like, then there's a few houses. It goes from that to, it goes from Main Street, packed in, to farmland.
Right now.
I'm talking right now. You pass the last building, and then there's a farm next to it, and then that's all you can do for miles is, like, Mohonk Mountains out that way, and Lake Minnewaska. It's got beautiful waterfalls. It's pretty around there, but anyway, its population's about 7,100 in this town, and that's mostly college kids. Right. Also, income here, median income's about $66,000, so a little higher than the national average. Nothing huge. Median home price here, though, is only about $180,000, so it's pretty cheap to live over there. And the college has been there forever. Here's a couple reviews of it very quickly. Here, a couple of them are kind of funny here. Most of the reviews are about the bars, like hanging out at the bars. Here's 5 stars. New Paltz is a very beautiful area where the mountains scrape the sky and mornings are filled with singing birds. It is a calm place to live. With a bustling town filled with handmade arts, the people are especially sweet. Don't be surprised when you get a kind hello from a stranger on the street. That's probably a college kid that wants to slip something in your drink and have their sexual way with you. So don't be so... That could be dangerous.
That's a boy with a guitar and a poem in his heart.
Yeah. And it is idyllic and pretty. And this New Paltz is 70 miles from Manhattan. So it's not even very far at all from down there. One person complained, 3 stars. It's been snowing a lot lately. It's March 26th and there's still snow on the ground. That's from last year. It's like, well, yeah, it's almost there.
Almost to Canada. What do you want?
Here's 1 star. Quote, "It's so cold and it's annoying." So
put a coat on, man.
There's that. That's interesting. Here's a 1 star. I went to SUNY New Paltz back in the mid-'80s. It was a vibrant artist town with great nightlife. Hippies and punks ruled the day. Best bars like Sanctuary, Thesis, Northlight are now the town is a complete overpriced yuppie nightmare with idiots buying millionaire houses.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's good. People do come up and buy. You can commute to the city from here.
Yeah, so sounds like the character from Saturday Night Live, though.
Oh, yeah. It's those.
Like, This is a bar that opened in a dumpster.
There's a lot of people like that. Like, oh, this is sweet. Yeah, these are the people who are like, we're going to do this cool comedy show. No, it's going to be in Phoenix in August, outdoors in a parking lot, man. It's going to be awesome.
Well, there'll be misters that dry before they hit your face.
Totally cool, man. We're going to call it Beat the Heat. It's going to be great. Things to do. This is fucking ridiculous. The Hudson Valley Ribfest Rockin' Barbecue.
Oh.
Wow. This sounds...
Rockin' barbecue.
Yeah, the rockin' part is the part I'm going to have to go with earphones
so you draw the line?
But the rest of it, this sounds pretty goddamn good. Music, dance, food, beer. Okay, well, 2 out of the 4 because the music here is probably not going to be to my liking, I don't think.
50-50.
50-50 on that. The area's largest family-friendly grilling event, serving vegans, vegetarians, pescatarians, and meat lovers. It's the Ribfest, so yeah. Let's see. Finger-licking good food in the Northeast, blah, blah, blah. It's a 3-day deal. Wow. Food festival, a music festival, and a sanctioned, it's a 3 events in one, and a sanctioned barbecue contest where the winners can advance to the national finals in Kansas City.
Is there a sanctioning board?
This gets you to the tourney, everybody. This puts you in the bracket, and I didn't realize this was like a regional queue-off. I didn't know that was...
Yeah, I didn't know we had so much time to waste in this country.
I didn't realize we had up here, we had a regional event.
Queue-off.
A little queue-off. So, yeah, you go to here, and what are they saying? You can be, the contest features over 60 teams competing for cash and prizes and title of Grand Champion of the Hudson Valley Rib Festival. Start your Ribfest weekend with $5 Friday. Oh, general admission for that.
Take that, Somalia.
That's right. We're going to gorge ourselves while terrible bands play.
We have so much food. We have a fucking sanctioning board.
Okay.
Monitors.
The VIP ticket is what you want.
Yeah.
Okay. Unlimited ribs. Ribs, beer, wine, and soda. God damn.
Push whatever you can into
your
body.
face, and then, roll yourself back across the bridge.
Purge that smoky shit later.
Wide variety of sides, desserts, private tent close to the stage with roped off outside areas. $60 per ticket for that, which
that seems
okay. Here, an evening of country music starts at 5:15. Oh, Jesus.
When is this? I'm taking you.
With a band called Thunder Ridge.
They suck. They're terrible.
Is it? I've never heard of them. Then
I've never heard of them either. That's how I know.
Nikki Breyer will be here as well. Country rocker Nikki Breyer. Oh, my God. Oh,
don't know.
Thunder Ridge will be, it says, quote, make a point to see them before they open for Keith Urban in Atlantic City the next night. Whoa. Well, then, Keith Rural is going to be there. I'm in Atlantic City. So anyway, do that, and you can go there. It's August, 15th, 16th, 17th, 16th and 17th. So, yeah,
all right.
It sounds good.
It's coming up. I'm taking you.
Hands over my ears, and I'm going.
Drag you.
Let's do it. I want the ribs, damn it. I love ribs.
I do, too.
I want ribs and beer. Let's do it. Let's go get like sloshing shit-faced and have barbecue sauce all over our faces. You want to?
Puke on somebody's boots.
You want to do it?
Yeah.
We're doing it. Damn it. This is going to be fun.
I can't wait.
Oh, I'm excited. All right. That said, let's talk about a murder that has nothing to do with ribs. Okay. Mm-hmm. Let's do this. Let's go back in time to 1997. Okay?
Yeah.
1997, and talk about a young lady who is 28 years old at this point in time. And I got to tell you, man, some people just have a bum run of it in life. Yeah. You know what I mean? Where you look at them and you go, Jesus Christ, none of that was avoidable, was it? That is terrible.
It's just all bad luck.
You know what I mean? Where you just go, fuck. Some people you're like, well, yeah, that's because you've been smoking crack for the last 5 years. All these things are things that come off of that. They're all consequences.
You had all your money in Beanie Babies. Of course you're
obviously, this is a problem. But some people you look and you go, that happened. Oh, Jesus. Wow. I hope that's terrible. That could happen to anybody. Geez. Wow. Oh, my goodness. It's a lot. That's this woman, Darlene Louise Bauer. Darlene, she's 28 years old. Like I said, she's a New Year's Eve baby. December 31st, 1968 is her birthday.
How about that?
So she has had a different type of 20s than most people have had. She's had first of all, the last year has been terrible because she's had a baby who was 1 year old who was diagnosed with brain cancer.
Oh, no.
Which obviously, that's,
devastating.
The universe is out to get you there. There's just nothing to do with that. So, baby diagnosed with brain cancer. So she is, trying to take care of this baby. She has to take this poor child out of state to go to, Houston for special treatments that only happen in one hospital. And I mean, it's a lot, man. It's a lot. And it's tough. She's a single mom. She doesn't go out with friends. She doesn't go hang out. She doesn't spend money on clothes. She doesn't do any of this shit. She's just taking care of this baby.
Brain cancer?
Brain cancer in a baby.
Jesus.
It's fucking horrible. So, she was working 10-hour shifts as a waitress, and we'll talk about that, and trying to pay off. There's all these hospital bills that she's got to pay off now because of this. It's horrible. And she's either working as a waitress at this point or being in a hospital. She's in hospitals or diners being a waitress. That's her whole life, which sounds not fun. That's a tough life. That's a tough life for someone who's not 30 yet. You know what I mean?
Not a lot of smiles to be had, and you should be enjoying. It's like your pinnacle of your life.
It's oh my god, it's fucking horrible. So in late 1996, because this is when this was all going down with her son here. In late 1996, the doctor told her that there's nothing more they could do for the baby, and
it's over.
And basically, they said maybe he has a couple more months, and
maybe he'll find it and he'll be a miracle.
They wanted to get to Christmas at least. That was because this was like in September. They said that he celebrates his first birthday in the beginning of December, and then she was going in December. She'd have all this shit, have to pack the baby up and all the medicine, and imagine going through TSA with all this type of shit and have to go to Houston. It's crazy. And then December 22nd, 1996, the baby died from the cancer, which was obviously terrible. She's such a nice lady though. She had $5,000 worth of medicine for the baby that was unused. So she actually found another sick child in Orange County through whatever. I don't know how in 97 you would put that together, but I
guess you look through the newspaper for that?
I don't know. There's
a classified
There's probably some sort of support group, I'm sure, for parents of kids with cancer that you would probably say,
like
hey,
a mailer or something.
You go to them and say, hey, if there's anybody who's having financial troubles and has a baby that takes this, I have it. Or I don't know how you would do that, but she did. She gave $5,000 to some family who I'm sure that was very helpful to them in medicine. And then she went back to her waitressing job after that and went right back to it at the Plaza Diner. And we'll talk about that in a second here. And everybody says she's insanely friendly. She's the sweetest person they have there. She's very blonde, by the way, like noticeably blonde, where you'd be like, oh, that's that blonde lady. You know what I mean? Right. Like that's the first thing you see. The Plaza Diner, and I'll read you some more about it later, but it's got like not great reviews on Yelp. It's not good at this point in time. Now, this happened in 97, obviously. But
in the last 20 years, it's certainly fallen apart.
Well, here's one review I'll give you here from this diner from a current day. It's a 1-star on Yelp. Sad diner. That's how it starts out, which is not good.
Well, I mean, the employees' children are dying at 1 year old, so I would say.
It was 25 years ago. I don't know if they're still sad about it, but, we went here with my boyfriend. We love diner food, in parentheses. Well, who doesn't? Who doesn't want those French fries? And found multiple hairs in my food.
Okay.
Told the waitress, and she gave me a 5% discount. Come on. You might as well
we'll cover the tax for you then.
Instead of 5% discount, you might as well, there's hairs in it, pick it up and then spit in it and put it back down in front of them. There you go. Now there's hair and spit. You might as well do that. 5% isn't helping. Thanks. There you go. 5%. I don't know if it's the waitress's fault or the manager said, 5% because they're all Greek guys that run all the diners here. I know for a fact. It's just every diner I've ever been to here. It's an angry Greek man. And then you go like 5 times and then they love you. The one we go to, the one I'm talking about there. I walk in, the guy goes, hello, shakes my hand. Come over here. They treat us like we're returning family because we go once a month. And they're like, oh, come over here. You're not 100 years old. Please. You might, you're a customer that's not going to die soon.
I can't wait to feed you my hair.
Oh, we have so much hair. You should see new cook. So hairy. Oh, my God.
He wears hairnet, but not on shoulder.
Oh, come out of neck of shirts. Look like mullet, but not mullet, Good stuff. Good stuff. He's very good. Spiro, you're going to like him. And don't say that's offensive. Fuck you, I'm Italian. I can make fun of Greeks all I want with your feta.
I'm that hairy. So
with your feta cheese and your fucking whatever the fuck. No. Anyway, so 5% discount because I ate some of it, so I, quote, can't get a refund.
What?
She ate up to the hair. So you can't give you a refund. You ate some of that. Not like I was going to resell it to someone else with the hair in it, but now that you ate it, what am I supposed to do? Give it to somebody else?
Now you're full and now you have a complaint.
Now you're full. You've had enough. Now that you've had enough hair that you're satisfied, now you want to give it back? I can't get a refund. And they hinted at me being the one who planted the hairs.
Okay.
They were gray hairs, and my boyfriend and I are both 20 years old with no gray hairs on our heads because we're 20. This is crazy. We didn't do this. It's Spiro. Where is he? But the head chef had salt and pepper beard. Of course he did. It's Spiro with the salt and pepper beard. That's what it says here. I'm so grossed out I can't even go back there. Sad face. Sad because I used to love this diner a couple years ago. So there you go. I don't even know what to say about that. That
is awesome.
They didn't even get to whether the food was good or not because it doesn't matter because there was a hair in it. If there's hair in the food, I don't care what kind of food it is. You don't go, besides the hair, it was delicious.
And this is where, is it Darlene? Is that her name? It's Darlene.
Darlene,
right?
Yes.
Yeah, and this is where she works.
This is where she works, the Plaza Diner in 97. So this, she works here. And to talk to one of the waitresses, this is the waitress who... we'll talk about this server named Valerie. She left the diner and basically gave her shift to Darlene. Okay, So this is the woman who worked here before Darlene. And she talks about how there's a lot of me personally, when we go to diners, because there's a lot of diners in the Northeast, and me and Sarah, we love going to diners because we just love the diner food. So we try to look at them and find different ones. And anyway, there's ones like people there I call the stray dogs of the diners. These are people that obviously eat there like 3-4 times a week. They're lonely people. It's the same people every time. It's the same guy. It's
you know what they look like.
It's the same guy. And I'm not talking about the elderly guys because there's the elderly guys that come too, and that's a different thing. Like that, they come in and they're like, "Hey, how you doing?" Another elderly guy comes in and they'll talk and shit and. That's a different story. I'm talking about
there's a 46-year-old guy there.
The 38-year-old guy who comes in and doesn't. This is the other thing too. He doesn't order a burger. He doesn't order some buffalo chicken strips. He orders pot roast. He orders like the shit on like exactly what I'm talking about, right?
The home cooked,
Yeah, he orders like I'll have the turkey dinner with the stuffing and the cranberry sauce, and it's April. You know what I'm saying? Like he's that guy.
It's a Wednesday in April.
Yeah, he's that guy.
I just want to feel something warm.
Yeah, there's a lot of that guy in there. Whenever we're in there's at least 2 of them, and we're like, that guy's there all the time. He's got a usual. Because one guy I remember ordered a pot roast dinner, and she said, "You want it the same as you usually like it?" And he goes, "Yeah, with that." And so that meant like replace this with that or whatever. And the server knew that, and I'm like, "Yeah, this guy comes in all the time." And I'm looking at it.
He's had meatloaf and green beans here.
Oh, God, he's had meatloaf. He's had, obviously, the pot roast. He's had chicken a la king or some other, like, 50s creation that no one's seen on a menu in 40 years.
Nobody orders.
There's something on the menu called a boxcar Willie on the one diner. I'm like, I don't want a boxcar Willie. I don't want anything that could be made in a boxcar. I don't want hobo food that I'm paying full price for in the 21st century.
On a hot plate.
Yeah.
Just make me something in a pan.
Something cooked over on an overturned shopping cart. Get the fuck out of here. I want pan-fried food here. Oven-cooked food.
I'm here for sustenance. Make it.
Make it. So I like to call these people the stray dogs, and Valerie talks about the stray dogs, and she says, quote, "Oh yeah, happens all the time. She says the men attach themselves to you, the servers, because they see them so often. And the servers in diners are friendly, a lot of them. You know what I mean?
That's their job. Yeah.
They call you darling. They still do that today. It's weird. Yeah. It's just a weird diner thing. So she says that they attach themselves to you. They come just to see you. They want you in front of them all the time. So they want to sit. Oh, let me sit in her section because she knows how I like my pot roast.
Right.
But also, I'm in love with her, and I think about her at night, probably.
I've also tugged to her.
Yeah. So, unbeknownst to her, we've had many conversations.
She's blown me so many times.
I found hairs, but I kept them. I'm trying to. I feel like if I have enough, I'm saving up to extract her DNA, and somehow
I'm gonna weave them into a cum catcher. That's what I'm gonna do.
Or I'm gonna sew them as pubes onto my real sex doll. Either one. I'm not sure yet.
I'll
I feel
decide when I have enough.
If that rubbing up against me could be enough to really make this something. Either way, I'll decide when I have enough. So she said that a lot of times, like, these guys will be in the parking lot when they get off work, and she says usually these are harmless guys. Usually they're nice guys, and they're very lonely, and they're kind of meek, and they're not real. They're not the alpha type here. We're talking not that that's a great thing either. We're just saying they're not guys who are going out really looking for the chicks and I'm going to find me a girlfriend or something. These are guys who wait for the girl to come to them, and it never happens.
They have this underlying hope and prayer that this serendipitous meeting is going to wholesomely turn into a relationship. Yeah. And then they can tell them, oh, she used to wait on me years ago, and now...
it stews in their brain. Right. Yeah, every time they bring them pot roast and smile, and there's a certain thing to that, too, that's a weird,
Seems
food.
Romantic to them, but what it is she wants to pay her rent.
And on a mammal level, too, it's just the same person bringing you food all the time. I think, your weird,
familiarity,
reptile or mammal fucking brain kicks in, too, and you're like, oh, that means that we're going to reproduce together and live in the den, in the cave, or whatever the fuck. I don't know what the hell animals do.
Domicile we're in.
Whatever deer do, you know what I mean? I don't know. Wherever they live and reproduce. So, anyway, he basically... or she's, this happens all the time. So this Valerie, she handed her shift over to her friend Darlene, Valerie quit to go back to school. So, and Darlene needed the job, and it's a decent shift. So she took over the shift, and Valerie had worked there for 12 years. So, I mean, it's the same deal here. She said that basically it sucks because... And especially back then, waiting tables, you made, what was it, $2.70 an hour, I believe, because I did it.
It's not much more now.
It's not. No, you're allowed to pay you're allowed to pay people with tips under minimum wage. Mm-hmm. So these servers really depend on decent tips to make their money. And a lot of times in a diner, when they come in, their bill is... Somebody comes in and their bill's going to be like $16 or something. Right. So, I mean, what's 20% of 16? Oh, gee, wow, $3.
Some people just have a coffee and spend $2. And they're going to tip a quarter.
So that's why charm and that sort of thing comes into play as well. Instead of leaving $3, I'll just leave a $5 because that's Valerie, and she's real nice to me all the time and knows how I like my pot roast potatoes,
And what's $2?
Yeah, she knows I want the stuffing instead of the green beans. You know what I mean? Right. She knows to tell Spiro to switch them out because he normally won't do that shit. That's all I'm saying. So they said a lot of it depends on, she talks about how nice you are, and a lot of the regulars, that's really your bread and butter because those are the people you can kind of count on a certain amount of money from every week. So they got to be really nice to them. And she said a lot of them are men, singles, kind of sad guys who come there. They tell them their fucking tales of life woes, and they make the little innuendos. They said it's never overt, but it's always like a little wink and to see if you think that's funny and you'll play along and shit like that, and all that sort of thing. So they said that she said that it felt weird that they would do that, but she said that it's kind of the way it is. She said the worst part is if you were working at the counter because all these diners have that old fashioned counter. She said there's nowhere to hide. Otherwise. No. You're waiting tables, you go to another table, you go in the kitchen for a minute, but if you're at the counter, you're just standing there waiting to pour people coffee and stuff. So not a lot you can do. She's like, she said, it feels like you're on display. She said, quote, the counter is the worst. It's the gathering place for lonely men. They don't come for the food. They want you to serve them sympathy, friendship, and attention.
I didn't realize how much waitressing parallels strip clubs.
It's like a stripper, or these are guys that go find like a woman on the street, you know what I'm saying? And they're like, you want a date, and they're like, you know, they'll pay them the same amount just to talk to them for an hour. You know what I'm saying? Like these are the type of guys we're talking about here. Like, you know,
Perverts Row.
I'll pay you extra to talk to me and then blow me. You know, I want it to be like a date. Like
I need the companionship.
That's what it is. But they come to a diner. They found a way cheaper way to go do this than a strip club here. So, and that's what I feel like a lot of these guys are feeling. And they get dinner. So, I mean, at a strip club, you're not going to get dinner for the most part. Yeah. And you don't want it.
And not get a DUI.
Yeah. You don't want the dinner from a strip club.
No,
you want to talk about hairs in your food. No.
Yikes.
So they said a lot of times, though, someone will attach themselves. They'll stop in 3-4 times. Sometimes they'll come in multiple times a day. They'll come into breakfast, and they'll come in after work for dinner. Yeah. Like, you know, you see these people all the time. Valerie here said, quote, it's a twisted form of love. They want to be acknowledged because no one on the street acknowledges them. And she said, unless somebody becomes really over the top obnoxious or grabbing them or something like that, there's really nothing anybody can do about it because they're a regular customer. So the diner wants them there. You want the tips, and everybody kind of puts up with it, which is kind of gross.
Yikes.
She said, it's creepy. I felt pressured to be nice to men I really didn't want to be nice to. And she said, they try to get you to feel sorry for them. They want you to feel responsible for their ego. I mean, that might be asking a little bit much out of a waitress. If I go to a diner,
pot roast, and tell me I'm the greatest man you've ever met.
I don't need all that. If I go to a diner, I'd like you to respect that I don't want mayonnaise on anything and bring it in a semi. I'm not in any hurry, so I mean,
I've sat down.
Yeah, you can even get their shit first to whoever's over in that table. I'm fine. I'm not asking for a lot here. Just no mayo. No hair would be good.
Off the bun. Yeah,
that's all. It's all I'm asking for. So I don't need you
bread. That's what I want on it.
Don't need you to stroke my ego. I don't need you to tell me I'm handsome. I don't need you to laugh at my jokes. Just
right.
Minimal. I expect from people.
That is a crazy exchange. A little bit of very minimal money.
Yeah.
Be fed and be told you're amazing.
That's what I mean.
What is this?
They feel like they found the loophole.
Yeah.
They're like, I mean, I don't see no titties, but I go home and watch porn, so fuck it.
This is a ridiculous exchange.
It's so strange. So
I always thought diners were, you're drunk, nothing else is open. Come in here. That's more or less what it feels like to me. I don't think I've eaten at a diner more than 5 times with the sun up.
Only with us?
Yeah.
Only with us.
Only with you. And it's when we go on like a road trip, go get weed or whatever.
Yeah.
And just stop there. Or
we've just gone.
Just out during the day and look, there's a diner.
Yeah, let's stop at that diner. So, I mean, that's it. And so anyway, Valerie talks about how there's a guy who gave her gifts, including like the expensive jewelry, but then would be afraid to like ask her out. And all this. Another guy, she said, like older guys will bring in pictures of them younger. Like, look at me when I was your age. Isn't that great?
Oh,
like,
no.
You'd have fucked me then, right?
That's still the same guy, I swear.
One guy, she said, quote, he was no more attractive at 20 than he was at 55. Which I think is fucking great.
Just less wrinkles.
Yeah, it's the slow burn of, I'm going to kind of like a weird... This is like movies have kind of put this in. Like if you just hang around long enough, eventually they'll see something in you and go, you know what? Damn it, this person, I've been looking in all the wrong places. It's been right before me the whole time eating pot roast, and I didn't see it.
Romanticizing the friend zone, but meanwhile, this is the friend zone, not even the friend zone. Because
it's a business.
Right. I have to be nice to you because that's how fucking food service works.
Absolutely. That's all there is to it. Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe. proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News & World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. Yeah. But why don't you focus also, you look at green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
So anyway, enter Darlene into because all of what I just said about Valerie is exactly Darlene. But I'm just saying this Valerie woman, probably why are we talking about this Valerie woman? Because that's the exact same shift that Darlene takes over. So this is what Darlene is dealing with through all of this. So
meanwhile, Darlene has a brand new baby that just died, and she has to cope with that mixed with fucking catering to egos. Christ, the poor lady.
3 days before Christmas, a little more than a week before her birthday, she gets to bury her child.
Baby.
So that's nice.
Unbelievable.
Her friend said that she was Valerie even said was a religious person and felt very much empathy for everybody, and she was one of these real nice Christian people that were just the non-judgmental ones that are just want to help people and shit. Yeah, like a hippie Christian, I always called them. The ones
the way Jesus wanted you to be.
the Christians who would protest against the Vietnam War because they said it wasn't Christian, shit like that. Those people. So, she said that she wanted to help them. Valerie said Darlene would listen to a sob story longer than anyone. So she said she was the one, So these guys would especially glom onto her because she was receptive to it just because she's a sweet person. That's all it was.
And she deals with loss every day.
And she's dealt with loss, exactly. So if someone's sad, you're sad. That's a connection people make. So now we enter into the picture here. Barry Weingartner.
Yeah.
Barry Weingartner is 43 years old, and he is an unemployed security guard.
Yeah.
Oh, he
used to be a security guard.
Yes. In other words, he's unemployed is what that means. Just you could stop there. You don't even have to have security guard.
For one reason or another, he has money to spend at a diner.
His father recently died, so he is living off of a small inheritance from his father at this point. He's gathering his life back together, trying to get it together. He is a self-described obsessive-compulsive eater, he says. He would gorge himself on things. He got himself all the way up to 350 pounds at one point.
Holy.
And he's not a tall guy either. It's not like he's 6'7" or anything. He's not Shaq, who just needs to drop 20. He's a small guy who's about 150 pounds more than he normally is to begin with. Not that whatever. So he just put that on extra in eating. He's a regular at the Plaza Diner. He eats there at least once a day. Always sits in Darlene's section and wants to hang out with her. He had been his sick father's sole caregiver for years, apparently. So his father was living with him. He was taking care of his dad, taking him to doctor's appointments. His father finally died. Now he's living off the inheritance. He said he was, he said, I've been working and taking care of a sick parent for years.
Yeah.
It's time to relax for a little while.
Do you think some of this packing in and obsessive compulsive eating is part of his depression of losing his father?
I think it is. And he's also on a cocktail of antidepressants and anti-anxieties, which is also a thing that kind of throws things off as well. So he lives in like this. It's an apartment, but it looks like a motel. It's like an L-shaped deal with the doors that come right to the parking, when you pull up, like a motel that you see on the side of the road.
Yeah.
But they've turned it into
a flat.
Yeah, they've turned it into apartments now. That's all it is. You can't rent them by the night now. So he lives there. So at least once a day, though, he'd either walk or he'd drive there to go to the diner, and he'd try to be there between lunch and dinner, so that way there was more time to talk to the waitresses.
Yeah.
That was his strategy. He would always eat shrimp cocktail and pizza burgers.
Ew.
What a weird combination that is. If you've ever seen a diner pizza burger, there's no way to eat it. You have to knife and fork that shit. It's a mess.
What is that?
They put like cheese and sauce and shit on top of it, and so it's just a pile of, there's no way to pick it up.
Jesus.
It's like a hot open hamburger pizza. It's fucking weird. Pizza hamburger. Yeah, I don't recommend that. I've seen it. I've never had it.
So what you're saying is he's not making an effort to lose weight.
Not at all. No, that's what I mean. But he actually does, though, here, and we'll talk about that. He said, quote, "One day I was sitting at my usual table, sort of by the door." These guys all have a usual table.
Yeah.
When Darlene was cleaning a booth behind me, and he smelled her perfume, and he looked back. He said, quote, "I looked back and said, 'Darlene, is that opium?' And she said, 'That's the only one I can wear.'" So he picked her perfume out, cleaning a booth behind her, which sounds creepy.
That's very creepy.
He said he saw she wasn't wearing a wedding ring at all, so he invited her to sit down. Maybe she's game to talk. So she sat down and talked to him.
Yeah.
So he apparently was, they've both been coming out of a depressive shell, is what it is. Sure. Both of these people. She recently lost 80 pounds.
Really?
Yeah, she's lost 80 pounds recently.
That's awesome.
I assume from the grief and terror of taking your son. You know what I mean? Like that, you'll shed some weight. I don't care what your weight is. You're going to lose a few pounds if you're hauling your baby around.
If she made an active attempt to lose anything, it also was coupled with the lack of appetite based on grief.
She's had it horrible,
I can imagine.
So she's lost that, but she also bought a little tiny house. She saved up her money for a down payment, bought a little house, a white house with green trim, 5-minute drive from her mom's house. Her mom says, quote, "Darlene was a saver always. She saved every dime and made that down payment with cash. She had it. My daughter always told me, 'Hey, Mom, I hustle for that money. I work hard for that money.'"
Hell yeah.
You know how many losers I have to talk to for that fucking money? So anyway, she, like I said, she dropped 80 pounds, and the mother said, too, she would help because she was like trying to fix up her house because it wasn't a perfect house. She had to save up for it. So she said she'd go over there and help. One day carpet installers were coming, and, so she would do that. Her mom planted a bunch of nice plants, flowers along the driveway as a surprise for her. So she's getting settled in and trying to start her life over again after this horrible fucking tragedy. So she told him she's lost 80 pounds since her son's death, and he said that he's only 175 now, but he used to weigh between 320 and 350. So
awesome.
They've both recently lost weight and had deaths and are coming out of depressions where they lost all this weight. So they have, you know what I'm saying? They have a connection there. He says, quote, "Do you know what it's like to have obsessions that become the very core of your being?" That's what he said. That's
a vague ass. It could be creepy or it could be very kind.
And then he said, we are so good for each other, yet everything we have that's good is also bad for us to be together, is what he said. Which I don't know what he's talking about, because they're not together. They're friends, and she'll be friends with him. She'll even go places with him. One day in August of 1997, they went on a one-day trip to Long Island together.
No kidding.
Not romantic. They're not. There's no romance here. That's the other thing here. But they flew out of
trip of sightseeing.
Yeah, they flew out of Stewart and Newburgh there, which is right there across the river, and they landed in Long Island. And he says, quote, "We had a wonderful day," about the whole thing, and they had nice day. No romance here. Like I said, they're not together. And they're not in love or anything like that, but they said he said they shared an obsession with food, and that was both of their compulsive behavior that led to eating disorders of eating this food and gorging and shit like that. So he said that he preferred to binge and then swallow laxatives afterwards. That was his.
Oh my God.
That was his game. And he says she would starve herself as opposed to that to lose weight. So that was the way they would approach it. But yeah, so they had that in common. They went to Long Island there. They went to Hertz Rent-A-Car, where she paid for a Ford Contour with her Visa, and because he paid for the plane tickets. So it was just, hey, we'll go hang out. They drove to a Macy's where he paid for some opium perfume for her. Got you some new perfume.
Yeah.
Why'd they go all the way to goddamn Long Island for a fucking Macy's? In 1997, there's like, in Poughkeepsie, there's the Galleria, the South Hills Mall is still open over here. There's shit in Poughkeepsie. There's stuff across the river. Where are you going?
There's plenty there, yeah.
Where are you going?
All the way to Long Island.
Long Island. They stopped at diners for coffee a couple times. That's their deal there. He loves to drink coffee, and he chain smokes too also here. Okay. He says also sleep deprivation. What a wonderful way to keep the weight off is another way. Jesus, not really.
Barry, no.
So in September here, the week before September 18th here, so in that area of 1997, he decided that he didn't want to become dependent on the cocktail of drugs that has been prescribed to him by a doctor. So he's going to stop taking them right now. This is Zoloft and Paxil he's taking.
Yeah, those are two heavy ones
together. Yeah, so he needs something, obviously, and all of these drugs, from what I understand, say don't stop taking them all at once. Every drug like that says never do that. You got to wean yourself off.
And if a doctor prescribes you two heavy ones, and you take maybe one of them but not the other, maybe discuss that with them.
Yeah,
you get off of both.
He just
self-prescribed,
cold turkey that shit. Yeah. Cold turkey, both of them. So. That's what ended up happening. So one night here, it's September 18th, he asked her to stop by his apartment at the end of her shift. Hey, stop by and say hi and whatever. And she said, yeah, sure. She's got nothing better to do after her shift, I guess. So, and it's close by, so what the hell? Stop by. Maybe he needs help or something. So I guess he'd been around the house. One of his curtains fell, so he was trying to hammer up some push pins in there, and he was having a hard time or whatever. So either way, she came over. They're hanging out. It's a small place. Like I said, it's like a motel room, basically, this apartment here. She's sitting at his table, just, sitting here. They're talking and whatever. And he's trying to get this damn curtain back up, I guess. So he takes the hammer, which is a regular hammer, look like a claw on the back and a hammer part on the front, and he bashes her in the head with it. Bashes her in the head with it out of nowhere. She fell over to the bed where they're struggling because she was still she wasn't unconscious or anything. So he continued to beat her over the head with the hammer.
Oh my Barry.
He spent the next 40 minutes beating her with a hammer.
40 minutes.
40 minutes. He stopped a couple of times though. Yeah. One time he stopped in the middle of it in order to quote join her in saying the Lord's Prayer.
What?
Because he was beating her. She's probably praying to die, or she's praying, the whatever people say before they die. I'm not religious, but I know that people have a thing that they say if they're whatever. So
the last rites.
Yeah, he says he stopped just to lie down with her and say the Lord's Prayer with her, then went back to bashing her in the head with a fucking hammer.
Wow.
The second time, he said, I stopped again to pray with her. I was bashing her with this hammer, and I said, I'll give her, let's have a pray break while I do this. Yeah. And he said that time she wasn't able to form words anymore because she's been beating her with a hammer for a fucking 20 minutes. He said, I put my hand over her mouth and nose because I thought she was dead. And then she flinched, sort of moved her head, and she coughed. So he said, kept beating her.
Unbelievable.
Hit her more than 50 times over 40 minutes in the head with a hammer till he finally killed her.
That's a crazy...
What a fucking piece of shit.
That's the slowest beating on earth.
It's horrible. How weak is this fucking guy? He can't, not to be like whatever, but I mean, Jesus Christ, you can't. If you're going to fucking kill somebody, put them out of their goddamn misery. You don't go up to a fucking a deer and shoot him in the legs and then come over and like shoot him in the
kneecaps.
Yeah, it's not what you do. You try to one shot him, from what I understand. So
you try to through the lungum or heart.
It's fucking crazy, man. So he said, quote, I wanted to join her that night in death. I don't feel guilty. This is what he said afterwards. What? I don't feel guilty. She was totally surprised. She did not walk in that door like she was somebody who knew that she was going to die. Yeah.
No, because she didn't.
Why the fuck would you? Why would you think that? She thought you were a nice person. She went on a trip with you and you didn't do anything to her. So that's trusting at that point. He said, quote, I told her she was going to be with her son. You
That's comforting.
Motherfucker. God, I hate this asshole. I really, really hate this asshole. He told, He then called his brother in Rochester and told him what he did. Hey, what's up, bro? Yeah, I just beat this waitress that I have been kind of stalking, kind of beat her to death with a hammer. The brother didn't believe him. So he held the phone close to her and hit her more so the brother
with
could.
The phone?
No, with the hammer.
With the hammer?
He held the phone close and kept hitting her with the hammer and said, see, hear that?
Unreal.
It's fucking disgusting. So his brother hung up and called the police on him because, fuck, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So this asshole here, Weingartner, he gets into his car and lights a smoke and drives over to the diner. Drives to the diner.
Her diner?
Gonna get me some pot roast. You know how I like it. Replace the beans with fucking stuffing. So he goes to the diner and walks in covered in fucking blood. You know how much blood is on you after beating someone with... Walks in there. Everybody goes, what the fuck? And he tells them what he just did. I just beat Darlene to death with a hammer. So they all freak out and scream, call 911, call 911. Holy shit. They all call 911, so he just shrugs his shoulders and goes back and gets in his car and drives home.
Hot roast?
Nope, he didn't have anything that night. It's weird. Didn't know what he wanted. He didn't even hear the specials. Nothing. He drives home where the police are literally just sitting outside his front door waiting for him to come home. Hey, what's up, Chief? Covered in blood there. That's not good. So they arrest him, obviously, for this. He immediately does an interview in jail. All the interviews he can do.
With like newspapers and such?
With the AP and Associated Press. He does full-on interview for everybody to pick up here. This is within 2 weeks of the murder he does this. His lawyer strongly advised him not to do press interviews.
Yeah, please don't talk.
He ignored them and, quote, invited a string of reporters into the cinder block jail to recount what happened that night.
Holy shit.
The newspaper said, quote, this is, I think, the Poughkeepsie Journal, he offered details of the bloody murder like a carnival barker hinting at tawdry delights.
Oh, my.
He did. He acted, and he did this with the police, too. He admitted everything, but he was real smug about it and would laugh from time to time. Like, there's really stuff for me you guys want, huh? Isn't that funny? Like, that kind of shit. Like, it was a power play that he... Yeah. If you've ever seen, if you look it up, Israel Keys, the serial killer, who's one of the worst people I've ever, we'll do a bonus about him because he is fucking reprehensible. But there's like 6 hours of his FBI interviews on YouTube, and he never says shit because he's always he's playing a game with them, going back and forth about, well, you guys said you wouldn't tell the press this, and the press said that, so now I'm not going to tell you stuff. And every time he says something, he goes, he does that. These things that aren't really jokes and no one else is laughing, and he's going, and you're like, this motherfucker is sick. That's what he acts like here. Like, hey, you guys really want something, and he thinks it's funny. It's fucking gross. He said that, Jesus Christ, he said that they do say that his confessions in the media match details that he gave the cops and actually have more details he gives the media as well. He refers to the murder as, quote, the event when he speaks to reporters.
The event.
He says, quote, this is what he says to a line of reporters, quote, it took her almost 40 minutes to die. The event had to take place because one way to address compulsion is to eliminate them. That's the only way I could eliminate Darlene's hold on me. My obsession was to destroy her.
What the fuck?
Or
we can
go to
learn from that statement. Yeah.
Or go to a different diner, for fuck's sake. Jesus. Yeah. It's not like she...
Or a different doctor. Something's wrong with you.
Yeah, your doctor, definitely. But if you're obsessed with the waitress and you can't get over it, go somewhere else. That gets over it. You don't have to kill her because you don't want to fucking be obsessed with her. So,
statement.
And he was bragging that, look at me. I look great. I used to weigh 300-something pounds. He's telling all these people here. It's fucking wild. His lawyer said that he doesn't understand why he's doing this. Everything he says can be used as evidence by the court, obviously, by the prosecutors. And he said that his client is, quote, in a fragile mental state. Yeah. It doesn't sound fragile at all.
It doesn't.
It sounds like an asshole. Period.
He's certainly nuts. There's certainly something wrong, but that doesn't mean he's innocent. Is that a defense of what he's doing?
His only defense is asshole. You can't plead asshole.
Yeah,
that's not a.
No, you can't.
That's synonymous with guilty when you plead asshole.
Yeah.
So, he said, though, that he doesn't care what happens to him in court because he says he expects to spend the rest of his life behind bars. And he doesn't give a shit because later on what he says to the judge is wild as well here. Poor fucking Jesus. Jan is Darlene's mother. And she says, I loved being a grandmother. Now I'll never have another grandchild. I don't have a kid of my own. Darlene is an only child, by the way. This is her only daughter. I don't have anything, she says, this poor fucking woman. Jesus Christ. It is crazy. His Weingartner's attorney describes him as, quote, the most difficult client I've had in 23 years. Yeah. He says his behavior is detrimental to his defense. He says, quote, I don't think he's listened to one thing I've told him in this case, which is never good. He is charged with second-degree murder. Maximum punishment is life in prison without parole here. So he pleads guilty because, he couldn't admit it more. So he pleads guilty in exchange for a guilty plea that the life without is taken off the table.
What?
And now it's the most he could get is 25 years to life at this point. That's part of the plea deal. All right. So during sentencing, he came in he shaved his beard and his hair and all this shit because he had a beard and all this in jail. So to come in, he said that he told the court that he just couldn't relate to the sorrow that Darlene's family has endured. He said, I don't know anything about that. He said that he killed Darlene because he was obsessed with her. And he said, quote, the reason I killed Darlene Bauer was to put an end to my obsession with her. He said this in open court to the judge to get a lesser sentence. He said, but the death doesn't do anything. I'm still obsessed with her. Then he said, quote, I want to be in heaven with her.
Oh, my God.
To a certain extent, I do believe I am sick in some form.
Every extent.
And the understatement of the year goes to this asshole. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Extent.
He was found mentally competent to stand trial. He's not legally insane, but he says, quote, I do have an obsessive compulsive disorder. And then he asked the court for help. Maybe the court can get me some help with my obsessions. Like, fine, in prison. You can have all the help you want.
Yeah, we have to treat you because otherwise, if we just leave you to rot and then your sentence expires, then what?
Well,
then we're in a lot of trouble.
And good luck with the prison food. You're not going to be obsessed with that. Right. We promise. So
you won't be gorging anymore.
Nope. Darlene's family here, they get to speak during sentencing. And her mother says, I can't begin to tell you what has happened to my life since the Kingston City Police came to my house that night. The anger overwhelms me when I think of how I will get through another day without my Darlene. I visit her grave and weep, wondering why this animal took such a precious gift from me. I'm tormented by the thoughts of what Darlene endured at the hands of this sick person. Jesus Christ. And the sister, her half-sister. She's got a half-sister that's one of them married, whatever. She says he could have sought help when he knew he needed it, not, after he killed somebody, obviously. The mother here, Jan, she left the courtroom before Weingartner spoke, saying, I don't want to hear anything he has to say. Good call. Fair enough. They also said the family said how he has a complete lack of remorse, and he attempts to torment the family even after the death. They spoke that they had to have a closed casket because she was so mutilated. And they said, quote, she was beaten so severely that I was not able to see her beautiful face to say goodbye. I could not touch her or hold her or even kiss her goodbye. I will never have closure. Yeah, that's terrible. Her half-sister said, "You took my best friend and my confidant." And she then said to the judge, quote, "I implore you, don't give this sick and sadistic animal a chance to do this again." Yeah, okay. Yeah. The Ulster County Assistant District Attorney said this defendant shows no remorse. He bragged to police that he was a good liar. He told police that he enjoyed the power he had over them because he had something they wanted, and he's enjoyed this notoriety, which he has. He got every press person he could find he invited to the prison, anybody that would come to the jail. His lawyer, I mean, imagine being his fucking lawyer. Like
that's got to be a nightmare.
It's the worst already with this fucking lawyer.
Boy.
He argued that, he should get a lesser sentence because he doesn't have any previous criminal record. Well,
I mean, that's all you can say.
Your first one's a biggie, so it doesn't really matter at that point. I don't give a shit what the fuck you've done in the past. I don't care what you are. That's enough right there.
Yeah,
you killed a lady with a hammer. We're good.
I think Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, his first crime was planting bombs at the Boston Marathon.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Sometimes it's a big deal.
It's enough for me. It's enough. So the judge says, okay, that's all fine and all. You, sir, may fuck off. 24 years to life, he gives him.
What's the point of that?
The judge said that he was sorry that nothing he could do would lessen the pain of the family, and the fact that the sentence was just short of the maximum, he said, quote, does not indicate that I think he should ever be released from prison. The opposite is true. I think Mr. Weingartner should spend the rest of his life behind bars. So
you're going to tease him with 24?
So I don't understand that. So, by the way, that would put him up for parole last year. 24 years to life. So, or right about, yeah. So, anyway, he is that day. Usually it takes a while. They have to find where they're going to send you, and then they send you to prison and whatever. He is such a pain in the ass in the jail. That very day, he is sent to prison.
Really?
Do you know how?
I don't want a second longer with him.
No, the public defender said, quote, this is the quickest anyone has ever been sent to downstate that he's ever seen. He's in the downstate correctional facility in Fishkill, which is down there. I think we've driven past that. He said that usually it's 10 to 14 days after sentencing. Like there's a lot of paperwork.
Right now.
He said 14 business days would be considered quick. This was same day. That's crazy. He said he's had clients waiting in jail for a month or longer before going to state prisons.
What do they do? Overnight him? They pack him in a FedEx box or something?
Same date him. Are you kidding me? They didn't even overnight him. Same day.
How do you do that?
He went from wearing a fucking tie in court to wearing whatever the literal prison. Like it was, he showed up with his court clothes on. That doesn't happen.
Drone drop him? How did they do that?
I think they did. They really do. So the district attorney said that Weingartner is obviously a difficult inmate, and a state prison would be a more appropriate place for him at that point. In other words, when we don't want to watch him, it would be more appropriate if his fuckery didn't really reflect on me personally and our people I work with. We've decided that's really what we're concerned with, is that his stink doesn't rub off on us.
The safety of other inmates. We want him the fuck out of here.
We will, because he's not right in the fucking head, obviously. So, Valerie, the waitress, said that, in her opinion, she said that maybe Darlene her own kindness contributed to this, because this was the way she was. She was so kind that she didn't understand how these guys were. She said that, probably that, she didn't have a chance to tell him to leave her alone, maybe, you know what I mean? Because if she stopped by there, whatever, and it must have been a make-believe relationship in her head. And with the Valerie woman, she moved on. She said she went to college and she wanted to be a writer. And she says, I don't expect to ever work as a waitress again. The thought of it makes me sick. He said, you know what? There are women working 60 hours a week, women who might have a baby to support, and women who don't ever get to go out. Honestly, if you go to a diner, fucking tip those people more than 20%.
Honestly, yeah.
I look at it this way, like, and I don't know, you can look at it however you want, because you don't have to tip big, obviously, and people in other countries are like, what are you talking about?
Right.
Here, waiters and waitresses don't get paid actual money from the job. They get paid from us. They don't have like a good salary like in European countries, or some of them have good salaries, but tip these people. I look at it as, if I can't afford to tip them, then I take that as part of the bill. Then I can't afford to go out, so I stay home. That's
exactly.
all. And you don't have to do the same thing, but that's what I do. So I don't mean you, Jimmy. I mean,
and specifically, if you're very well taken care of, somebody just worked their ass off for you, fucking pay for that. What are you talking about?
That's what I mean. Do it up, and think about it. Think about what a diner kitchen is like. Think about gathering together that fat fuck's pot roast every goddamn day. You want to do that? No. So Valerie said that Darlene's death made her even more determined to build a career that isn't waitressing, because she said there's plenty of nights where there was men waiting in the parking lot for her, God. And who knows if one of those would have killed her. Who knows? Yeah. So she said, quote, "I've been a waitress. I've been in her position. I've been nice to men like that." So there you go. Her mom, Janice, ended up dying in 2018. So that was rough there. Darlene is buried in Kingston, New York, and she's buried in a thing with her son. They have a tombstone together and all that kind of thing. So, I mean, that's fucking horrible. Within a year, both of them. You don't expect that. You see like a 27-year-old woman with her newborn baby, and you don't go, well, within a year, both of you will be dead from separate things.
Yeah.
You know,
and that's
carbon monoxide wiping the house out or a car accident.
Right. That's the sadder part. It's not one event that took both of them. It's a terrible, tragic two of them.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Her luck, man. Poor Darlene and her luck. That's just the worst luck ever. So anyway, there you go. That is New Paltz, New York.
Want to, you're nice to.
Be nice to your waitresses, but not too fucking nice. Don't be creepy. Understand that they don't want to have sex with you. They're just bringing you the pot roast, and accept that as a nice thing. Accept someone being kind to you and bringing you food, even if you're paying for it, in a kind way, and making it, and having Spiro make it the way you want it, is a kind gesture and friendship enough, and you don't need to make it any weirder than that. Let's put it that way.
You're literally paying $8 for her friendship.
Yeah.
Where can you buy $8 sex, you sick fuck? You can't. Stop it.
If she likes you, she knows you're single. You come in every day eating the pot roast. She knows you're single. She will write her number down on the check if she likes you. I guarantee it. If she doesn't, then guess what? Leave her alone. There you go.
Let her shoot her shot. Don't you do it, you sick bastard.
And that goes for women, too, because women were pervy as fuck. I've been a waiter, and I've had women are very aggressive like that too. Mainly like 50-year-old drunk women are like, come here, sweetheart, and they'll grab your ass. And you're like, hey, what the fuck, lady? Like, I've been divorced 3 times. I'll touch any man I want. You're like, oh, calm down. But none of them were threatening. I was never in fear of them bashing my head in with a hammer. So I guess it's different. So anyway, there you go. That's New Paltz, New York. If you like that, give us 5 stars wherever the hell you're listening to stuff. ShutUpAndGiveMeMurder.com is the website where you get tickets and get all your merchandise and everything like that, your coloring books and you name it, you got it. New Orleans, July the 15th. Come out there and sweat your balls off with all of us, and balls or tits or whatever you got there. I don't care. Whatever you got, have it all sweaty and gross, and come on out with us.
I'll be in soaked denim, I'm sure.
Jimmy's wearing the finest in a wet denim today, a wet, salty denim. So there's
Can't
that.
Wear black pants there. You'll have fucking sweat ripples in them. That's gross.
Oh, no. Patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get all of the bonus material. This week we have top sports movies. We have old-timey murders, a dead fucking clown in his Madison Square Garden dressing room. It's so much. Follow us on social media at Murder Small, on Twitter at Smalltown Pod, on Facebook at Smalltown Murder, on Instagram. Thank you so much, everybody. And we will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.